I think this is the first time that I can say that I have a deep and profound connection with a watch. Whenever I look into the dial of this Venezianico Ultrablack, I am forever mesmerized in wonderment of how this was able to be manufactured. It's literally a black hole on your wrist. It reminds me of myself. It reminds me of the eternal abyss that is my charisma and bank account. A truly deep connection between a man and his watch, indeed. But yes, you too will wonder how Venezianico was able to pull this off. How to execute a watch with such an elegance, but at the same time removing much of the details, including light. Let's find out. This video is brought to you by Venezianico. One of my favorite watch brands to date is obviously snooping around my personal collection. I don't know how to feel about that, but it sounds more awkward the more I talk about it. But Venezianico knows that I have a soft spot for minimalist designs. If I didn't know better, they designed this Redentore Ultrablack specially for me. Before this conversation reaches the inevitable Venezianico branded minimalist trousers, let's focus on this elegant watch on the wrist. Coming in at 40mm in diameter, this dressy watch feels and looks a little too big for smaller wrists like mine. Even though people say that black stuff looks smaller than usual, this large dial projects outward, especially with these narrow bezels. Crown operation is simple with its Seiko NH35A time-only caliber. The crown is also non-threaded, so you can wind this movement immediately. It also retains a 100-meter water resistance, which is comparable against other watches. The good folks at Venezianico likely saw that I had a Movado museum and said to themselves, well, let's make something for Jason so that he can keep that Movado in the drawer. With the Redentore's 12mm thickness though, my Movado museum is still a bit slimmer on the wrist. However, that's about the extent of its visual interest. Beside a texture-heavy Solas Starlight, there is a clear difference of design philosophy, even though it's similar in design and strap configuration. There is a refinement and restraint to the Ultra Black that makes the Solas look like an unfocused watch. If you're waiting for some fancy strap-changing choreography, you'll be disappointed in this video as I chose to swap bands with just one other watch, the Nerede GMT. I feel it will respect the Redentore's strong personality as the only band fit for it is the Canova bracelet. Fair warning, this bracelet is secured only on one lug hole, but it's a good proof of concept as the case and bracelet harmoniously work together for a classy sports watch. Overall, the Ultra Black is created with a premium black leather strap in mind. It's intended to drive the eye's focus on the dial rather than to be distracted by the band. Let us now examine this Redentore a little closer to understand its minimalist allure. It may appear simple, but it doesn't mean that it lacks the details to build a personality. For one, it's an extremely polished case and bezel that adds to the dark shadow of every corner of this watch. The sides, however, exhibits its Venezianico-ness with its stamped crown and brushed case sides. I also like the stepped bezel that gives its pronounced separation from the case. The strap provides the much-needed texture but nothing too obvious to detract from the body. This is a subtle grained, handcrafted Italian leather that elevates the quality of the watch, though very unassuming in nature. The most detailed part is the case back that references the starry night sky. And that brings us back to that mind-bending dial. This is the only angle that I could shine a light on this surface. Developed in Japan, the Musou black paint absorbs 99.4% of light. With its polished hands and Venezianico cross, the dial achieves an effect I've never seen before on an affordable automatic watch. To the naked eye, these dial elements appears to be suspended in outer space, strapped onto your wrist. It perplexes your brain because of the omission of shadows. It has such an absolute flatness and deep tone that even my camera started to question reality itself. You'll lose track of time just staring into the void that is this dial. Another challenge I had to face in filming this watch is that I had to constantly keep the crystal free from lint and hair. These small debris can easily be noticed with its extremely black dial. This brings me to the greatest detail that I appreciate from the watch. It takes an extreme level of craft to get the hands and that emblem on the dial without contaminating the black surface. All it takes is one speck of dust and the dial is ruined. That deserves a lot of praise. Couple that with a heavenly blue halo created by the crystal chamfer, and you have a uniquely beautiful dial a Moser fan would love. Once again, I have a sneaking suspicion that Venezianico is watching me closely. They know full well that I watch a lot of H. Moser in C videos. Priced at 500 euros, you can easily enjoy a one-of-a-kind watch that's also designed for class. Some may think that this dial is a gimmick to attract attention to the watch and brand. If that is the case, then it gets the job done very, very well. However, the execution and other elements clearly shows that this is so much more than a marketing material. It's a design that persuades me to believe that it exists solely for my delight. Special thanks to Venezianico for sending this one in for review. It truly is an elegant and beautiful watch on its own, but coupled with that amazingly mesmerizing dial, it becomes an exceptional watch that you have never seen before. Well, quite frankly, there's nothing much else to see there, but that effect alone is worth the price of admission. And I think that's what makes Venezianico special amongst the other brands that play in the same price range, because they're willing to take these bold and risky steps for their collections to push them forward into the future, because every single collection that they have is an improvement from the past. And seeing as where their design aesthetics is going, it's going to be a bright future for Venezianico. Even for this one, that brightness, oddly enough, is really not the highlight. Again, that's the Venezianico Ultra Black. The letter's pretty awesome too. That's a good take. Kind of is a good take. This Venezianico Ultra Black was able to execute an elegance found in man. That was like so good.